Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. Oh, okay. So I'll just put this out here since it is in the tab of news and politics. Uh, I am not an official reporter. Therefore, whatever I say here is only opinions, and whatever I might talk about is my opinions only about certain topics. It could be on a variety of subjects. Just to let you know, warnings out there. It is what it is. Now, let's get into it. So it's the weekend, it's cold, it's snowy here in my part of Canada. Whew. So what are we going to talk to about today? Well, a couple of things. ArriveCan. What is ArriveCan? It is an application that the Canadian government kind of forced on people, not really forced, but highly pushed application during the pandemic for people traveling in and out of Canada. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Also, since we are on the subject of the pandemic, well, Canada did some studies, paid some companies to do some studies about stuff that I'm not exactly sure of. But a lot of money went into that too, and yeah, we'll talk about that. I'm not really going to talk about what a lot of people want me talking about, that $80 million barn. That's in fact a garage. And then we discovered later on that it has an elevator and nobody knows where the elevator goes. So rumors are it's a bunker. Okay, interesting, but and on other subjects, we will talk about Canada. I am so proud to be a Canadian citizen. We are saving the planet. We are saving the global warming situation. We are ranked, I think, 58 out of 63 countries. Woohoo! So we'll be talking about that. And lastly, if we get into it, I will be talking about the Marvels. That came out, and it's a huge success with children under the age of 6. You heard me right. So, as in the opening statement here, this is my opinion and mine alone. So, let's start diving into it. ArriveCan. So, I've watched a couple of inquiries, government inquiries, where the government, some elected officials are around the table and are asking questions about, the expenses, because apparently it cost nearly $54 million for this application. Which you would think, what are we talking about? 54 million. We are a country. Canada's the richest country in the world. Why are we talking about? Well, we're talking about it basically because in the past, in the past, we've had some applications done for the military for whatever reason, and it usually costs under half a million. Half, not even a million, half a million. One of the most expensive applications, and I'm not sure about this one, but I think it was for the armed forces, was $3 million. $3 million for an application, a phone app. And pandemic hits. We need an application to track the Canadians because we don't want to, die. So, mucho importante. Meaning it's very important. And, okay, so we contracted some contractors, subcontractors, contractor thingies. So apparently, these two guys in the basement were talking with the government and are like, well, if I have 4 months' experience, will you give me the contract? And the government is like, no, in our, requirements, we need somebody that has at least 4 years programming. So then the two guys in the basement are like, okay, well, instead of 4 months, if we write 4 years, so that would be okay, right? And the government's like, yeah, 4 years is what we need. Okay. So instead of writing 4 months experience on his CV, he writes down 4 years experience on his CV. So guess what? They get awarded the contract. Hoo-wee. Mister, did you have any exchanges with one of the government officials at his cottage? And the guy replies, no. And the government's like, what? No? Well, the inquiry is like, no, it's a chalet. It's a chalet. Well, if you Google translate French to English, chalet, it's cottage. Really? Come on, people. Playing on words here. So basically, what these two individuals did was get awarded the contract, turn around and subcontracted the contract. So out of the 54 million that it cost for this application, I think it's between 9 and 11 million was basically what we gave these two guys in the basement to basically do nothing. $11 million. Well, between 9 and 11, so let's call it a $10 million. Two guys, that's $5 million each. To do what? Pick up the phone, write a couple of numbers on a piece of paper, get the contract, and then actually do no programming whatsoever. We're not talking about Bill Gates writing MS-DOS or Windows in his basement, in his garage, with a couple of friends or himself or whatnot. No. We're talking about people, picking up the phone on one side. Hey, can you guys program something? Yes, okay. You do it for us, please. Money's no problem. The government is gonna foot the bill. So it turns out that there was two other shell companies within this. So he awarded it to another company that turned around and awarded it to another and awarded it again to another company. So somebody down the line did the actual work. I'm pretty sure they did not get paid $11 million to do it. So, was it yesterday or the day before I was watching the inquiry? And we have a department in Canada that, a department that is procurements or whatever you want to call it. That, if the government needs to buy toilet paper, they call Walmart, hey, what's your price on toilet paper? Okay, such and such. And they call whatever other pharmacy or whatever other company that sells toilet paper. Yes, what's your price? And basically, their job is to find the best price for the toilet paper and buy it from them. And there's 5 people that showed up to this inquiry and they were asked, well, do you think that $54 million is a good price for the application we pay, we bought 54 million. And they're like, well, yeah. Did anybody inform the minister that it was going to cost this much and that we were going to give this money to these two guys? And everybody on the five that were there are looking at each other. No, we didn't, it's not our job to tell the minister how much it's going to end up costing. Did the minister ask how much it was going to cost for this application? Apparently, nobody answers. We don't know. I have not, received any inquiries from the minister. So either the minister is a clown or people were hiding stuff from him. Nobody knows. Nobody can answer. The minister's not answering. Obviously, the ministers have changed and elected, non elected, whatever, shuffled. So I have no idea who was responsible for this, but somehow the most expensive previous application cost 3 million and we jumped to 54 million, and we have these 5 experts from Canada, public servants, saying to us that yeah, it's a great deal, 54 million for what we got. An application that didn't really quite run well. So, interesting enough, not cool. I'm like, okay, this government is just throwing money out the window. So, therefore, okay, moving on to the next topic. This study apparently cost 300 million. Apparently, there was some Canadian patents. It was during the pandemic. It was for research purposes. We gave 300 million to a Japanese company. Uh, Nobody knows what the study was about, what the results from the analysis of the study was. All we know is that we gave patents to some Japanese and never heard from it since. So I'm confused here. Why did not the others not pay for the patents? Why did we give them to them? Why did they run off? Why did we give them 300 million for a study? What was the study about? And apparently, again, nobody knows. Nobody has the faintest clue. So you can imagine me not happy about 54 million, what I'm starting to think about the 300 million now. Eh? Really? Interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. It's kind of strange that, and then I'm in the title or at the beginning, I didn't say I was going to talk about this, but let's do it. Apparently, the government gave a certain company, SNC Lavalin, whatever you want to call it, some contracts. Yeah, we gave them some contracts. Yeah, we gave them some contracts. Is there any wrongdoing in these contracts? The RCMP, which is kind of like the federal police agency here in Canada, are like, ministers, can you give us this documentation into these contracts awarded to this company to see if everything's on the up and up? Because it kind of smells fishy. We just want to make sure, reassure Canadians that we're doing our job. And the ministers are like, no, we're not giving you nothing. So the official position on the cops is like, okay, well, due to insufficient proof, obviously we haven't been able to determine any wrongdoing from the government. Okay. Nobody can go and get a judge and get a mandate to force anybody to, get a subpoena to get the information that we need to conduct an inquiry, an investigation, or something. But, it's old news. It's from 4 years ago. So, we can do what we want. We just tell the cops, you know what, we're not gonna, you know, if you don't have a warrant, we're not gonna force anything. And our cops are like, okay, well, we do work for the government, not for the people. So our government pays our paycheck, not the people that pay the taxes. So this brings me on to the marvelous, marvelous next topic here. Taxes. So Canada has so far put in effect three taxes or four taxes, carbon taxes, not one, not two. And when I say not one, not two, is you tax it once and then you tax the tax. So that's two taxes. Then you tax the tax a tax. So it's accumulative, you know. So initially maybe, your liter of gas you would pay it, $1. And now that we have like three or four taxes on it, your liter of gas that used to cost $1 is costing, $2.16. That's a lot of taxes, isn't it? And what's the result for this? Well, we've stopped nuclear power, which is, if you ask any expert, it's pretty much the cleanest available mass produce energy that humankind can kind of currently do. I mean, okay, you can build solar panels and block out the sun with them. That's what we need, Just build a giant solar panel between the sun and the earth. The shade would, cool down the planet and all the energy. Yeah, I know. It sounds ridiculous, but you put it somehow in space and you wire it to the planet Earth. Some kind of flexible extension cord because, the planet does turn around, so you don't want the cables to get tangled up. But, something, that would, if it was possible, that would probably be the cleanest. But, until an asteroid shatters the solar panel, then we're kind of screwed. But, so nuclear is pretty much on par with the safest thing. Hydro, well, hydro is pretty clean, but you have to create these reservoirs of water, which, there's wildlife living there and trees and stuff. And now we need to build an artificial lake. So, yeah, it's the impact is still minimal compared to burning fossil fuels and stuff. You know, Fossil fuels and burning oil generators is, not the greatest way to go. But it is what it is. So, in the past week or week and a half, the government decided because there was a lot of people in Atlantic Canada still have oil furnaces. I myself have an oil furnace downstairs. It does not work. I no longer have the reservoir because we've switched over to electricity. Fantastic. Fantastic. But a lot of people in Atlantic are using oil, and oil is currently like twice as expensive as natural gas. So the government kind of gave those people an exception. Well, everybody's paying for heating. Everybody has to pay a bill. Everybody has to heat their homes. It's Canada. It's winter. I said in the opening statement, it's snowing here today, so it's cold. I am not no longer allowed to put a wood stove in here, and the problem is that I live in a very remote place. So, a big snowstorm hits and the power line goes down, I freeze. That's it. I'm stuck for 12 hours, 24 hours until whenever they fix the lines. And in 24 hours, unfortunately, my pipes can freeze and all kinds of stuff like that. So, not cool. Not cool at all. But that's just me. It's weird. It might not seem like the thing we would want ideally, but so the government came under fire because they made an exception to the taxes to save the planet. Why are certain people allowed to have an exemption when we're trying to save the planet and not others? And one minister had the audacity to say, well, here in Atlantic Canada, we voted for the current government. You guys in the rest of the country voted for other people, so you're not getting it. If you wanted to get it, you just need to vote for the party that's in power. Ooh, that did not go well. So depending on where you are and who you voted for, you're going to get a tax exemption. But hey, our Minister of Environment and Energy and all that stuff came under fire this week. And hey, Canada is like the best country in the world. We ranked 58 out of 63 companies that are participating in this Save the Planet scheme. I'll call it a scheme because really, we're not saving the planet. I mean, before cars, there used to be an ice age, before mankind, and suddenly that disappeared. We don't know how. So, I'm kind of like, I'm happy that we're saving the planet. I'm just not sure that it's working out the way that we want to. And strangely, our minister's like, it's working. Our government is working. We're saving the planet. We are removing cars off the road. Yeah, because the price of gas has more than doubled. Hello, Abby. How are you today? I'm ranting. I'm doing my news, politics, religion Q&A. Ranting for another 10 minutes and I'll be done with it. But yeah, we're removing cars off the road. So basically, I live so far remote. Takes me 2 hours to get to a McDonald's. To give you an idea, I don't. It's a good thing. It's a healthier choice because if I would live across the street from a McDonald's, I'd probably be eating McDonald's, but I live 2 hours away. Much cheaper for me to go to the local market and make my own burgers, right? Thing is that I even need a car because I'm partially handicapped. I'm paralyzed from the right side. I can't walk for more than 2 minutes. So, I mean, so the government's proud they're removing cars off the road because the price of gas is so expensive. So I can't even afford to go and buy food anymore. So I'm in a remote place. I can't use the bicycle. I can't. There is no handicap service buses here. Okay, I could just move, but now that the interest rates have skyrocketed, nobody wants to buy my house because it's too expensive for anybody. I mean, the mortgages have doubled in the past year. Literally doubled in the past year. 365 days, mortgage payments have doubled. So, I can no longer afford to go and do groceries. I gotta sell the car, gotta sell the house. But hey, it's saving the planet. Putting me in the street is saving the planet. I don't have a subway, I don't have a public bus, I can't ride a bicycle. But hey, We are saving the planet. We are killing Canadian, well, not killing Canadians, but making life really, really, really hard. Being homeless Canadian is hard, but hey, if we need to make Canadians homeless, have them lose their jobs, have them, can't afford food, can't afford a roof over their heads. We are saving the planet, and I'm proud to be a Canadian, being 58th placed out of 63 countries. I don't know how many countries are in the world currently. I think there's more than 63 countries. I would think that there's somewhere around 500 countries. I might be mistaken. Maybe it's only 300. Maybe it's only 260. I don't know. I'm not a professional country counter thing. It's very complicated because Ukraine is kind of independent, but also part of Russia. Well, that's what Russia thinks. I hate it when brothers and sisters and everybody doesn't get along. I really hate war. I really hate the fact that Israel and Hamas are added in Palestine and all this Gaza Strip and stuff. I, you know, I don't like it when people are at each other's throat. I wish we could all get along. I don't know why, after the Second World War, we decided to, put everybody in the Middle East. Seems like the Middle East people are really whacked out to begin with. That's just my opinion. It's just a general observation. It's a case per case. I might have a different opinion. But, you know, I don't like people arguing. I mean, Canada is so big. I mean, we barely have any inhabitants in Manitoba. Why can we not ask all the Jewish people from Israel to, hey, would you like to come and live in Manitoba? We'd be more than happy. This is Canada, the greatest country in the world. We are saving the planet. Why can't all the Israelis come and live here in Manitoba and let the Middle East people fight amongst themselves? They seem to enjoy that thing. I mean, yes, it affects everybody all over the place all the time, but, if it would solve a problem and create some world peace, I'm up all for that kind of stuff. I wasn't going to talk about wars and stuff, but hey, a lot of, big weapon companies are making a lot of good money now. It's helping the economy. And God knows, we definitely need the economy to be working because it's not going good. Everything closed down during the pandemic. And now, with the prices of everything being so high, we need low prices on weapons and stuff. It's the future. If there's one thing you can count on, as long as there are two humans on the planet, somebody's going to try to kill themselves, each other, or whatnot. So, if you need to invest in something, invest in weapons manufacturing because it's not the future, it's the past, it's the present, it's the future. As long as we roam the planet, I mean, it's open festival market for weapons. So we need the economy to be strong and we need to sell weapons, a lot of them. So, last topic, which I'm going to briefly talk about, the Marvels. You want to get away from all this crappy crap governmental environment and war stuff. Go to the movies. Especially if you're 6 years old, you'll really enjoy this movie. It's all woman power, and I mean I love women, In general, I kind of like them, kind of, cuz, now it's very confusing. Now anybody can be a woman, so again, it have to be a case per case per case whether I like the woman or not. I used to like women, now I'm confused. Cuz I mean my cat thinks it's a woman and I like cats, but I think that my cat is a cat. But if my cat identifies as a woman, I'm not sure I like women anymore. I'm very confused. So, I like women. I like women actors. I mean, Sigourney Weaver in Aliens was awesome. Sarah Connor and, whatever Terminators was awesome. Red Sonja, the female version of Conan. I know I loved her in the comic books and stuff. Strong women. So many to choose from. But now that the Marvels is the all woman version of the Avengers, and basically all we have to tell her is Black Magic Woman. I think that line from Samuel L. Jackson came from Santana. I don't know if there's a copyright issue there. But you just, go up to a woman, a black woman, and say, Black Magic Woman. And she knows how to fly. Just tell her that, and she knows how to fly. It's not complicated. Any black woman magic can fly. If you're 6 years old, you're going to love this movie. If not, well, it's a hard pass for me, obviously. But hey, everybody's entitled to an opinion, and that's mine. Hey, guess what? I have a cat that wants to be part of the stream. I have two cats. I have one here, and now I have one here. And they're really annoying. So they're trying to tell me it's time to come too close. Yeah, it feels like okay, I'm just going to read a couple of comments here. We are both damaging and saving it to an extent, talking about the planet, but I think we are damaging it more than helping it overall. Well, I think the planet is going to be here long after we're not. And, there used to be an ice age, and somehow all that ice melted somehow. And, we were living in caves. So I don't know how we are making it worse. I mean, you have to know something. The sun expands every year. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, maybe it gets bigger by this much this year and this much next year and this much the year after that. Nonetheless, the sun gets bigger. In a million years from now, the sun will eat the earth because it'll get so big. So whether we're here on the planet or not, eventually the earth will be eaten by the sun. I don't know how we can stop that, and I don't think that taxing me 400 times the price of whatever it is going to help that. That was just my point of view over that. Yeah, it feels like a lot of people just can't do anything anymore. It's ridiculous, and I don't know my generation and future generations will afford literally anything. It's crazy. Nothing is affordable anymore. It's super crazy, and I can't say stuff that I want to say on YouTube, but we need to vote for people in another direction. We need to find true leaders. We need to stop electing politicians who are, in my opinion, professional liars. And we need to get back to, voting for people that may or may not do the right thing, but are trying to do the right thing. It's sad and it proves lots of government are failing and are corrupted. Anyone with being, yeah. Bro, if Canada has a little people when Russia have a run for its money, well, I don't know. Perhaps, but I was talking about one thing. That's another thing. Everyone, especially the US, needs lower and affordable prices on everything, to be honest, or half the globe probably will struggle or be homeless by the time they're 30. Well, look, apparently Canada and the United States and some other countries out there are the richest countries in the world. And even Germany came out with a study over the summer. They are ranked like 50th out of 50 countries that were looked at as to growth. And I mean, we're talking about Germany. Germany that, everybody from my generation knows that something that is engineered to perfection came from Germany. When a German engineers something, it'll last forever, will not require any maintenance, it's bulletproof, and all that stuff. And apparently, these people have no growth, economic growth whatsoever. It's just downhill. There's no jobs for any Germans. So, if all the best countries and the richest countries in the world are having a hard time economically, you can just imagine people from, underdeveloped countries. What's left for them other than killing each other off for food? We need to, reimagine stuff. We need to rethink stuff. We need to. You might want to read this in my head. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. But that's my rant for today. That's my today's questions and answers and news, politics, religion, dailies. And now you know why I like to talk about anime, sci fi, fantasy, gaming, to get away from all this stuff. I'm aware of all this stuff. I talk about all this stuff. I have an opinion about all this stuff. But I need to get away from it, and that's what we'll do now. So, hope you have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see you in my next videos. Until then, stay safe.